Hey everyone, this is Abby, and this is my 11 months on HRT YouTube video. So I am going to start this video with yet another monologue because it's particularly apt, and I hope that it's useful to you too. So here we go. One definition of power is when we have nothing to prove and nothing to hide. Then we are in a balanced ego state, not a high ego or a low ego, but where we can accept every part of ourselves, all the contradictions, all the confusion, all the shadow, and when we learn to love all those places in ourselves where we are in doubt, fear, vulnerability, while simultaneously celebrating our successes and our attributes. When we allow ourselves to be human and to love our humanity, choosing to go into the places of tightness or tension and stretch them out, explore them, then we choose to live from a place of truth and love. We build our self-confidence and inner power. No one can do this inner work for you. Okay, so I've read that monologue lots of times, and I'm sorry if I stumbled a little bit, but yeah, this is like take 6. So here we go. The last video that I made for 10 months on HRT, there was a lot of sadness, and there was a lot of shame, and a lot of self-loathing, and a lot of questioning, and a lot of dysphoria. And you know what ushered that in, as I mentioned, was that I was going through I went through a breakup that really took me into a rabbit hole of depression, where there were a lot of fears and questions around who am I, what am I, you know, am I a real woman, this kind of thing. And what I did to work through those was I went to several practices which are core to who I am. The first is that I consulted a woman who I consider to have a great deal of wisdom and who I respect. And we did a personal inventory in which I listed all of my fears and resentments and things toward which I felt shame, particularly around my sexuality. And what came out of that was that, you know, a lot of these emotions dated back to early childhood. And what I saw resonating through was an ability to accept that I've always been Abby. Always. And I'm going to go into that a little deeper in a minute, but the fact that Abby was always there, she was like the ghost of a girl in a machine until transition started. And that there was so much in sort of this residual pain and anger and rage that was in there through various elements of my psyche. And what that led me to was to doing work with my gender therapist and my spiritual therapist. And we went and we explored those areas of that pain and the psyche and what that meant to me. And it gave me my first insights into my crone. But deeper than Abby was going back into a spiritual practice, which for me is yoga and Shamatha Meditation, and also quite a bit of Tibetan Buddhist readings. Pema Chodron, for example, Thich Nhat Hanh are authors that I care for quite a lot. And, you know, in my meditation today, I saw it as vividly as anything, which is inside of all of us is something primal, something eternal, that this is temporal, and it is a creation, not by accident. None of you, not I, are accidents. We are here with intent and purpose, and it is powerful and is relentless, and it is going to continue forward. And so the choice that we have really is, are we awake? Are we aligned with it? Or are we asleep because we're looking at it from a perspective of ego? You know, is Abby a good or bad person? Is she a real woman? What is she? She's much more powerful than any of that. And so are you. Because it's not me. This is not Abby. Abby is not the essence. I hope that doesn't seem too deep or too all-knowing or anything like that, because all that I can do is attempt to put words around something which is truly nameless. You know, in the Tao Te Ching, it's written that the Tao is that which cannot be named. And I think that that is that is what makes talking about spiritual things like this particularly difficult for me, is because it comes from a place of intuition and of knowing and of feeling, rather than a place of constructs and intellectual machinations. Those come subsequently, a priori. They don't exist. They're creations of the eternal. So, yeah. Wow, that was a bit of a tangent, but damn, that was fun. At least to me. That probably gave you insight as to whether or not you want to hang out with me, right? Or date me. Going into dating, one of the things that I discovered, which I was very reluctant, honestly, was that, yep, Abby's gay. Mm-hmm. That really was, I didn't want that answer. You know what my therapist told me, and I love this? She looks at me and she goes, you know what you've always known, but you don't want to know it because you don't like what it might mean. And, really kind of selfishly what it meant is my dating pool got really, really small. But, that's the way that goes. My sacred sexuality comes about when my energy resonates with another woman's energy. I don't know why that is. It just is. And I accept it, and I think it's beautiful, and I'm going to explore it. So there you have it. And particularly with another woman who, yeah, we're going to leave that go for a little bit. Yes, onward. So, coming forward, I have been doing quite a bit of mentoring with another woman who is new to recovery, and that has been phenomenal and such a gift, because she is just this beautiful miracle of spirit that came here from Queens, New York, via Florida in a roundabout way. But I have learned so much from that woman, and she really holds me to account, because, there's a part of me in my psyche that is kind of like a 16-year-old girl, and she wants to be pretty, and she wants to buy clothes, and she likes stuff like this. And really, then there's like a 25-year-old who I adore, who's kind of a punk dyke, really, but I adore her. Her name is Samantha. And then there's a 40-year-old woman inside of me, because I'm going to be 40 April 28th, believe it or not. And then even better, not better, they're all good, is a crone. And I'm finally getting to know my crone. Some women that I really respect that have sort of this aura of confidence and awakeness to them. They know their crones. And the crone is the wise old woman in the woods who people thought was a witch, but she's the keeper of the stories. And yes, so I'm looking forward to getting to know her with more work going forward. And yeah, it's good stuff. And I am loving the fact that, when I decided to transition, I was meditating twice a day, and I was doing lots of spiritual readings, and I was doing a lot of yoga. And in the exuberance and excitements of getting to live as a girl, finally, of the ghost and the girl and the machine finally getting the door to open and to come out and to realize and manifest her life as she always wanted to, I lost track of my own discipline. Meditation slipped, my yoga slipped. I was very busy being an extroverted social butterfly, and I am returning to some semblance of balance with that as a 40-year-old woman. And it's definitely much more centered and healthy, and yeah, it's good stuff. So, and I've been going to a lot more women's meetings, and have received nothing but acceptance, and it's been really, really great. I walked into one women's meeting and I said, look, I've been dealing with a lot of shame for a long time, and if you would prefer that transgender women not be here, that only biologically born women be present here, then I will, gracefully leave and honor that. And every one of those women looked at me and said, welcome. That was a sacred moment too, and I thank them for that. Yeah, a little choked up with that. And then I've been attending some all-women's kinky events. We'll leave it at that. And I've met some wonderful people. So the last thing that I'm going to mention is that I'm moving to a new place. I found a wonderful roommate. And so this next video for 12 months, 1 year, will be from that location. Stay tuned. Take care. Bye.